This is 5 minutes of political common sense for America. I'm Brian Boeheim, the political engineer. And in this segment, I want to talk about the overturning of California gay marriage ban. I have a struggle with this. Did I miss the moment in time when religious freedom became something we voted on? If I recall, the whole reason people came all the way here from Europe on wooden ships was to avoid religious persecution. How then have we come to the point where the religious act of bonding two people through marriage has become something politicians stump on, judges rule on, and voters vote on? This is not about sexual preferences. This is about the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment and the right to freedom of religion. It reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So how did this all get started? Well, in order to maintain control of ownership, debt, and taxation, the government once again stepped over its constitutional authority. Through the Internal Revenue Service and state licensing laws, it has set up a legal definition for marriage. It has no authority to do that. If anything, the federal government should be preventing individual states from defining marriage. Imagine if they defined prayer the same way. Can you imagine prayer defined by lawyers and politicians? Not only would they limit where and when you can pray, but with whom you can pray. Now, how does that feel? When the government stepped in front of the church as the gatekeepers for marriage, we started down a very slippery slope. By leaping over the dividing line, our politicians have once again created a legal and political quagmire. This is the epitome of the religious argument. Along with that, we have expended a tremendous amount of time and energy and taxpayer dollars. Let's take a second and look at what people want. First, people want to have the ability to define themselves as married in the eyes of God. Second, they want to have the ability to share their physical lives together. And finally, the government wants to be able to define your union as a relationship so they can tax and impose laws upon you. So honestly, how difficult can it be to satisfy everyone in this deal? Let's break it down and keep it separate. It's easier to find a solution if you just step back and break it down into its fundamental parts. First, marriage is a religious union between two people, and the government has no say in it. Second, let's eliminate the term marriage from all legally binding contracts regarding ownership and debt. Let's also eliminate the term from government documentation, and yes, that includes IRS tax law. This will create a clean break between church and state on the topic of binding relationships. Now that we've given back marriage to the religions, we still have to handle the day-to-day legal implications of two people joining in a life partnership. We need a definition which can be used to define couples who have decided to share their lives, property, and debt. I propose a commitment, cohabitation, and collaboration contract, otherwise known as a C3 contract. Every couple who wants to have all the benefits of what is now considered a legal marriage would enter into this contract. It would replace the licensing process that the states require, and it would simplify the whole mess. The 3 C's would be defined as follows. Commitment. That means two people are committed to each other until death or such time that there is irreconcilable breach of contract. Cohabitation. It simply means that the two people must live together for over 50% of the calendar year. And finally, collaboration means each person is financially responsible for debts and living expenses of each other, and they share equally in the ownership of property. People always want to make this about same-sex marriage, but there are many other people who could benefit from this shift in legal definition. What about two people in their golden years? They could improve their living environment and have a peace of mind that someone is there to help them, without confusing the matter with any religious implications. How about two single mothers who could combine their households to provide a better and safer living environment for their children? The benefits would be huge. The C3 contract would provide them legal way to share expenses, allow them to improve their standard of living. They could also assume next of kin status to make decisions in health and emergency situations. All of this while providing the government with clear definition and having nothing to do with the religious entity of marriage. We need to get the government out of places it doesn't belong. We need to take personal responsibility for our relationships that we have and understand how we are defining our relationships. If it is a marriage you want, then go to the church, synagogue, mosque, and temple of your choice. If it is a partnership, then the C3 contract will fit the bill perfectly for all our citizens, not just the citizens our judges and politicians think are worthy. You've been listening to 5 minutes of Political Common Sense for America. I'm Brian Boeheim, the political engineer. And if you like what you've heard here, go out and pick up a copy of my book, Political Common Sense for America. You can find it at Amazon.com. Until next time, be safe out there.